I struggled because even I didn't speak to my mum for 10 years. I haven't heard from her, didn't speak to her. And she didn't know whether I was alive or dead.
Do you believe behind the smiling often is pain or sadness?
As a child, all you wanted to do is what every child does, play. I had to do everything for them kids, cook, clean, everything.
It's a crazy story, Mo. It's a movie story.
Mo, are you having this bad race does not make you a bad athlete. This is what you train for all your life.
So you think your uncle had a transaction to send you?
If this thing didn't happen to me, would I have the resilience? Would I have that fight in me?
Okay, we just finished a long-awaited interview with my friend Mo, and it's been, I think, years in the making. I've known you for so long.
So long, bro.
And alhamdulillah, we finally made it happen. Even when I did the research, I was so shocked that this human that I've known for so long has such a crazy story, like it's a movie story. So we had it today. I think you're gonna enjoy it a lot, inshallah. And I enjoyed it. I don't know about you.
No, I did that. It's a bit deep, but I really enjoyed it. And honestly, it's just been very straight, as well as been very truthful. And just, that's my story, bro. It's when you tell people, when you know each other, and, a lot has changed since then because obviously I was still competing. But now you retire and you're like, wow. Sometimes you go, what a story. How did that happen? Because often, as I said, people see us on telly and they go, oh yeah, he's won medals, a lot of medals. But we have a story.
Absolutely. So yeah, always support us. We love your support. We love your love. We love your attention. We appreciate your time watching these interviews, the long ones.
Yeah.
And if you know Mo, I hope you got to know him more and you love him more. And if you don't know Mo, support him, find him, follow, share his story to people who might want to hear it and need it. And I hope you enjoy the interview.
We're rolling.
Bismillah.
Bismillah.
Okay, Mr. Mo, Sir Mo, how are you really doing?
I'm doing great, thank you. I'm enjoying myself, yeah. How are you doing? It's been a long time.
Yeah, and the word really, when we ask ourselves, how are we really doing, you are forced to take a moment. If I say, how are you? You say, I'm fine, good, alhamdulillah.
Quick.
I say, how are you really?
Yeah.
You have to force yourself, even if you ask without somebody, you have to ask yourself, like, okay, yeah,
how am I really
actually,
doing?
how? Am I stressed? Am I tired? So yeah, how are you really doing at this stage or this phase of your life?
No, honestly, it's important. We do ask that question. I think many times for all of us, we say we're doing great, but we're not doing great. So much going on in our life. It's still going on, but right now, I'm really doing great. I'm enjoying myself. I'm happy. I'm around my kids. Something that throughout my career, I missed being an athlete. 6 months of the year, I was up in the mountains training, not seeing them. But that's what it took, so I don't have any regrets. That's what I had to do. But now, how am I doing? What am I doing? And honestly, I'm enjoying. I'm having probably one of the best lives that I've, wanted to have so many years while I was competing. Live somewhere quiet, enjoy time with your family. Now I'm here, not too far away from you, in Doha, Qatar. I'm really enjoying time, spending quality time with my loved ones, and that's what's most important in life,
Your original name, I read, is Hussein Kahin?
Yeah, Hussein Abdi Kahin. So my birth name was given to me by my parents, was Hussein. My father's name was Abdi. His father's name was Kahin. That's how I was born. And then why do we know you as Mo Farah? It's a good question. And honestly, it's something that, I've kept for many, many years behind me because I didn't want to really think about it. for what I've gone through in my early life. But it was hard. It was hard for all of us. It was hard for myself. It was hard for my mother. It was hard for people who loved you. In a situation that it happened, it was hard on both ends. So one side of it was when the civil war kicked in between Somaliland and Somalia. I lost my father early on when I was 4 years old. He got killed in the civil war, and that meant all of us were, displaced. There was 8 of us, including me. I've got a twin brother. Not many people know that. Who's identical, and all of us were moving into different in a care in somewhere, relatives can look after us, because my mum at the time, truly speaking, couldn't cope with the death of my father, and it was so hard for her to identify, firstly, the body, secondly, to go through as a woman and seeing that in the rural area was tough. And then my relative decided I should live with my dad's aunt, and I lived with her in Djibouti, which is the island of Somalia, not too far. And I spent like 3 years there. And then, living there, and then I had my twin brother join me as well. And still, like, my mum will come and see us now and then. But really, I was just a kid, happy kid, running around. And then, we had my relative, my uncle at the time, had a friend or someone he knew came around the house and said to us, listen, my aunt's family lived in Holland. Mm. And they said to us, listen, we'll get a phone call now and then, we get stuff sent. And they were like, oh yeah, do you want to go and have a better opportunity and go there and have a better opportunity in life where, Djibouti wasn't easy. And I said, yeah, I was excited. I just wanted to go. And at that point, this lady comes over, said to us, and my uncle somehow did something. Till this day, I don't know. And I tried to get, I did the documentary on the BBC, try and find out, get to the truth. Mm. At that point when I went, I didn't realize the lady was just, I thought she was just taking me to the family, and then we end up coming to the UK. I had all my details of my cousins and aunts and everyone and stuff, and I thought once I arrived there, the family will come and get you. I was 9 at the time. Mm. Had that, and then I didn't realize, about a week before, 10 days before, the lady was like, your name is, if somebody asks you, your name is Mohammed Farah. And I was like, well, what's going to do, man? What's going on? And she said, listen, if anybody asks you, this is your brother, this is your brother. And I came with 2 other children at the time, and her. And she said, your name is Mohammed Farah. And I was like, okay, maybe it's just going in. So I just played along with it, went there, came to London, arrived in London, and then the husband was there. The husband was looking around and looking for his child. She basically took me under another child's name, and that was the reason where then was my name Mohammed Farah. So he's looking around, he's like, where's my child? And I remember them just having chat, and I wasn't sure. And even till that moment, I just had to play along with it and tell him, look at him in the eye and go, yeah, I'm Mohammed Farah. The guy was confused, and I was like, okay. Came through it. Anyway, I had all the documents I had in my pocket, a piece of paper. And then the lady said to me, grabbed me and goes, listen, give me all the stuff. Took it off me. She said, do not talk, do not say anything. Just that's it. And then I end up living in the house. And really, like what I know now, I was actually child trafficked into the UK, given a different name. And then in the house where I was living with the kids, I had to do everything for them kids. Cook, clean, everything. Didn't go to school for close to a year. Home, just taking care of it. And then somehow, I end up starting school late. And then when I started school, then the school couldn't see. I wasn't happy. There was a lot of stuff going on. I was neglect, wasn't dressed properly, probably, wasn't hygienic, taken care of, a lot of stuff. And the school could see it. And after a while, I had the courage to talk to one of the teachers and say to them, listen, there's a lot of stuff going on. I can't join athletics club. I can't do any of the clubs. I can't do anything. And and at home things are really tough. So I talked to him, and then at that point, then they spoke to the social services. The social services got involved, and then I was moving from that house, and they brought in another house where one of my friends at school, his mum. So she put me under her roof and really took care of me. But early on in my life, I would say, I struggled because even I didn't speak to my mum for 10 years. I haven't heard from her, didn't speak to her. It took 10 years. And she didn't know whether I was alive or dead. So, yeah, it was pretty tough as a child. Still smiling though, you know. Yeah.
Do you believe behind the smiling often is pain or sadness, and a coping mechanism is to smile?
Yeah, honestly, as I said, it is you build that courage, and where, you know, at times, you know, as a child, when I was young, and in that hard times, I would lock myself in the toilet and cry and see nobody comes, and I've learned to not cry. So probably sometimes emotionally, I'm like, it's hard for me to be really emotional, but at the same time, it's just that resilience you build. And that smile, I think, for me, is just like, you know, I've always smiled, and it's a way of just letting it out. But then, you know, the only thing that then helped me in my career was being able to, you know, enjoy running. And perhaps sometimes even till this day, it's the question I ask myself, if this thing didn't happen to me, would I have the resilience? Would I have that fight in me? And running was a way out of being free, well as making it a career out of it and winning 4 Olympic medals, going on to be knighted by Her Majesty the Queen and beyond. And I guess in my life, that's the only thing that I could control in a way. Like other things happen, couldn't control. So, you know, it's a bit deep, but that's the reality.
And what does the name Hussein Abdi mean to you today?
That means everything. That name means everything to me. That's the name was given to me by my father before he passed away, Allah Rahmah, and my mom. And still, she calls me Hussein, and till this day. And that's the same reason why I named my son Hussein.
Okay.
So I named my son, obviously with me and my wife had a discussion, and my wife was like, listen, she knew the story, and she's like, why didn't you name him Hussein? So it came so close naming him. I was going to make him Hamza or Hussein, and I'm so glad I named him, because, you know, for years, you know, I was never called that. Still now.
Did you ever think of changing back to that?
No.
So you feel your personality is become the name of Mo Farah and
Hussein, yeah, originally it's on my birth certificate, as I said, now it says Hussein Abdi Kahin, Mo Farah. It's the same. It doesn't mean anything. People know you as who you. But again, it's a respect of, you know, for my mom, I'm taking my father. You owe them now, and you still, you know, carry it and respectfully without going, I want to change my names. Yeah.
If you had to summarize the childhood in 3 words, which 3 words you would choose?
I would say, I think sometimes we say difficult, difficult, you can get over it. But some of the stuff that I would just say horrible. When you say someone's like, oh, it was hard for me, because I felt, you know, as a child, all you wanted to do is what every child does, play, have fun. And no child should ever, you know, go through what I've gone through. But again, it's important then, you know, to identify these things and seeing people, how they're really doing. Are they okay? What are the signs? You know, again, now with, you know, technology and particularly things that we can straight away see how the person is doing. It's important, I think, to ask that questions. how's it going? How are you doing? And give time to that person, or just let them just feel them out.
So horrible was one. What other two words come to mind?
Horrible, nasty, bad.
What's the worst memory from your childhood?
The worst memory for me was just losing my father so young, and not just losing him, but losing him and not have any memory of anything of him, like in terms of I don't have a photo, I don't have anything that I could go, do I look like him? Do I not look like him? And then often, now when you ask your relative, my mom and stuff like that, then they say, oh, you've got similar personality, but I wish, I just had some kind of image of him. Yeah.
You were 4. Do you remember him? So you click pause. Why do you click pause? I hear this often, that people that watch the show, they click pause when I ask a question because they ask it of themselves or their friends or their family, and then they have a conversation. So me and the team, we worked for over 2 years to do over 70 questions here with a die and some QR codes where I pop up. But the point was to take the conversation outside the white studio. We're blessed to have these conversations, but what if we want these conversations to go to different homes and different friend groups and colleague groups and really have intimate, deep, strong conversations that maybe you've never had before? So that's why we created this game, and it's had very good feedback. People love it, and I hope you love it too. Try it out and let us know. The website is there, the link is in the caption. Enjoy it and let us know.
I remember him because it was me and my twin brother. We lived in the farm, we were happy, we played, that's how family come from, the farm. And I remember him like, obviously, like picking me up, playing with me. But if you were saying, do you remember image of him?
And when you left to Djibouti, and then from Djibouti, UK, right?
Yeah.
Hassan, your twin brother.
Hassan, yeah, left that.
He stayed?
Yeah, I left him behind. We left him behind. I remember that night, and when I was leaving, he asked, why can I not go with him? And I think now we have a conversation with each other. And sometimes when he tells me, I can see in his eyes, like he felt left behind. And sometimes the reason why they gave it to him, they were like, oh, you're going to go, you will join him next week, a month later, a year later. And it never happened. And for him, it was just, he wanted to be, because we were close, we were identical. Did everything the same. He was probably a little bit harder than me. He bullied me a little bit because I'm the youngest one. But we were just like kids playing, fighting, and and sometimes I look back and go, yeah, I can see it when I have a conversation with him. We're still close, even though we left a million miles apart. We're still close. I still speak to him regular. But yeah.
That's so sad, man.
No, but it's sad, but at the same time.
Sad in that age, like a child doesn't have logic.
I think a child for me is, you said, you're a parent, I'm a parent. All you ever want to do for your kids, do what's best for them. You never oppress them. You never go, you treat them to be kids. And, and for me, as I said, you wouldn't treat that how I was treated. I wouldn't treat that my worst enemy. Because worst enemy is your worst enemy. If they're an adult, it's different. But it's a child. It just says, I think the word that comes to me is like horrible. I never knew what the word child trafficking meant till I actually decided to do that documentary. And I knew, you put it in the back of your head, back of your mind for 30 years. And after a while, it lives with you and you're just daydreaming because you see your kids and you're like, they're same age as you, and you're like, all this thoughts comes through you, and then my wife could see that. She's like, listen, you have to let it out. You have to let it. And I was like, who can I let it out? And I really wanted to just get to the bottom of it. What really happened? Why? Whose decision? Was it my mum's decision? Was it my uncle's decision? Whose decision was that? And what was the thought behind it? Which answered quite a lot of questions I've had, particularly for my mum. I just wanted to know, how was she doing? What was behind it? What she know? Was she aware of? Did she hear it? And she's like, and some of the questions I got back was like, I was worried about you. I didn't know you were dead. I thought you were dead. And I'm like, you don't want to hear that from your mother. Yeah.
So you think your uncle had a transaction to send you?
I honestly don't want to say this, that, but
It seems.
It seems like that's the logic, huh?
Is he still alive?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you talk or no?
No.
That's a soft spot.
Nah. But it's just like, what was the reason? And if that was the reason, then why was I not looked for? You know, even that, or in that situation, or you would go check out someone, because you're only a child. You know, if you had cousins or something like that, your cousins in Europe, you would go and see them. That's the logic thing. Normal thing, see how they're doing, what they're like.
Unless you're ashamed of the act and you want to forget about it.
Yeah.
Then you'd never confront it. And that's how human beings deal with things, you know, like they act like it's under the rug, but it's there. It's the elephant in the room.
Not based there. As adults, it's someone else's responsibilities, you know.
Did you, when you had this tough time in England in the beginning, did you say like, Alhamdulillah, Hassan didn't come?
Yeah, I did. Always, you know, I said, Alhamdulillah, at least he has the love. I think every child just needs the love and support. And my mum might not be able to give him everything he needs and you know, the fancy things and nice clothes and stuff like that, but at least he had love. And for me, it's Alhamdulillah, I will switch that with anything. You know, at the time you go, I don't really need all this stuff. I just need my family, my sisters, my brothers, cousins. We might not have any food or whatever you're having, or struggling to, you know, put hot food on the table, but at least you have the love and support.
And like, do you remember what you went through? I think you said you left around 9?
So I left when I was 9.
To Europe?
To Europe.
In London?
In London. And
then until 19, you didn't hear from your mom?
I didn't see her for 10 years.
Yeah.
And the first time I heard from her was 2003.
Okay.
So it would have been 93, 94, 96, 97, 98, 99, 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003, so 9 years.
So what happens in Mo, the child's brain? Do you think like your family's dead? Or you're like, oh, I wish I was there? How do you cope? Like, I'm sure it's so lonely and depressing for a child that at some point, I'm really curious. What happens in your brain to cope? Like, do you say, I don't have a family, I need to live a new life? Or you're always longing for them, or you're hoping to find a way to get in touch?
For me, it's one thing. I've always had faith, believe in Allah, and always, you know, only Allah knows the answers that I wanted to do, you know, answers I wanted as a child. I was like, please Allah, just one day, take me to see, like, my mum and my brothers and stuff. You always pray, even though, like, back of you might be thinking, oh my God, are they dead? Are they alive? I never knew. And after a while, you keep going. And how it happened was, there was a lady who went to a trip. She went to Somaliland. And when she went to Somaliland, she came back and she knew there was a boy, and my mum said, like, I'm looking for this boy. He lives in the UK. If you ever hear from him, he looked like this. And she said that. And what she did was that she had the cassettes, you know, the old cassettes. She recorded her voice, her number, and then she gave it to that lady. And that lady somehow found me. And she said to me, what's your name? And I was like, Mohammed. And she's like, no, what's your name? Mohammed. She says, it's not your name, Hussein. I was like, I froze. Nobody ever calls me that. And I was like, yeah. And then I looked at her and she goes, your mum? I was like, my mum? Is she alive? And then at that point I was like, got really excited. And she said to me, she gave me something to give it to you. And she gave it to me. And I remember couldn't wait to go home. And then I went like running home, got home. And the relative I was living with was like my friend's mum, I call her aunt as a respect, told her. And then she had a picture as well, a picture frame with my brothers and her and my mum. And I was like, looking at that's my mum. And then listened to the cassette, and then I'm listening, and she's like, oh yeah, this is your mom, this is so-and-so, this is your brother's alive. So I'm like, every time I get excited, I'm getting excited. Everybody was alive. And I was like, alhamdulillah. And then I remember she wrote a number, and back then, when you call someone, they never had telephone or nothing like that. You have to like call an office, make an appointment, and tell them to wait for you. So I remember doing that. I called her on a Thursday. She's like, I'll call her on Thursday. I told my mum that. I said Thursday afternoon, whatever. And you know, when you're in Europe, it's like you give specific time and you go there. And I remember him passing that message. And then he said, I passed your message. Your mum's going to come Thursday. She comes first thing in the morning, waiting outside the office before it opens, stays there all day, till the afternoon. And then I call her. And that was the first time I've heard from her. I was like, wow. And I was like, tell me about it. Is this really? And it's like, everyone's good, words. And then I think within 6 months or maybe even shorter, I got a flight, went to go and see her. And that was then, by that point, it was 10 years. And I remember just my brother coming up to me at the airport going, he was crying his eyes out. I was like, oh, version. And I think that's probably the first time I ever see myself crying and going, I'm crying for happiness, you know? Yeah.
Wow. 10 years. How did it feel when you reached the airport and you saw her?
I was just so excited. I couldn't wait. Get on the flight, you get on the flight, and I got a connecting flight from, I think it was Djibouti at the time, because you go London, Djibouti to there, and then when I got there, land, you're just looking around, and I could just, when you got out, just felt love. And I was supposed to end up staying only for 4 weeks. I ended up staying for 2 months. The whole time. And I was like, and at the time I was running as well, and I didn't even do a single run. I was just enjoying the moment. And then at that point, after I had a little bit of money and stuff, and then my brother he got married. And I was there for his wedding, and it was just it was beautiful. And now he's got 10 kids. So one more is a football team.
Somalis love big families, man. That's for sure. Wow, man.
So,
what did he end up doing, Hassan?
He ended up like, he's an engineer. It's like taking mechanic and take that. And he worked, he was a bus driver, but now he's like really mechanic. And but he loves, even myself, I wanted to be a mechanic when I was younger, even at school. I can't keep my hands still, so I was taking things apart. But yeah, he's enjoying,
Wow, man.
He's happy. That's the key. But it's weird, because even my coach at that time, like recently, probably about 4 years ago, my coach, first time we met Hassan, he comes like in training camp, because we were training Addis, and he comes through, and it's like my mum's there. She was just doing like a little checkup at the hospital and stuff like that. And at the table, my coach Gary was like, he looked around, and when I'm thinking, I always do my hands like this. My leg will be moving, I'm doing that. And he's doing exactly the same thing. And he looks across and goes, Mo? And then it's like, nah, it's Hassan. We have even though we live totally different lives, same behavior.
Crazy. SubhanAllah.
Yeah, I'm like, SubhanAllah. It's mad.
It's a crazy story, Mo. It's the movie story. You can make a movie, not only a documentary, an actual movie.
No, but honestly, it's just that's my life. When you openly talk about it and go, who am I? How are you doing? Who are you? What's going on? Often people see us, me and you will go way back, but at the same time, we do what we do. That's our job. But at the same time, people just saw me as an athlete. But you have a story. You're a person. I believe every person has a story, whether they the guy who's cleaning at the toilet, or the guy, the pilot, or the guy who owns multi-billion. No, we're all humans. We all have stories, and again, it's just, honestly, it's just my story and what I've gone through, and I'm not even, now and stuff. What keeps you grounded? What keeps you going? To know what you've gone through, that's what keeps you humble. And
how long did you stay with that first abusive family?
Oh man, I had to. Yeah, honestly, it's about. It was about a year and a half, maybe even. I don't know exact. So came to 93. So we went through. I didn't start secondary school to year 7. So it would have been. So my kids are 30. So 2 years maybe. And
it was bad?
It was, honestly, as I said, it was hard for me. It was very difficult. It was, as I said, like no child should have ever gone through that kind of stuff. And, at least, even if they're going through stuff, you can take physical abuse, you can take, not physical abuse, you can take actual abuse hit, you know what I mean? But they take the physical side as well on top of other things. It was difficult. Very, very difficult. And again, if it wasn't for my PE teacher who, I built the courage
That's
to be
Mr. Allen?
Alan Watkinson, yeah. He's the guy who spotted me, who pointed me at the right direction.
He's the one also who got you out of that?
So there's the guy that I talked to him from school and said to him, listen, the only language I could speak was PE, physical education. It was nothing else. I wasn't the most smartest kid. I wasn't, educated as, going to maths, English. For me, I struggled with all the subject. But when I was on the PE, on the field, that was me, and I could and you can see how happy I was and stuff. And then we built a relationship from being on the sport, and you can see me, and these the guys then, believed in you, encouraged you to join a running club, and really.
Wow. But who is this family? Did they get punished, or nobody cares? Like they just moved you? Are they cruel? Are they physically abusive? Are they sexually abusive? Are they emotionally abusive?
I think emotionally and physically, that was the hardest thing, honestly. That was, for me, the hardest. It wasn't sexual, but it was physical and mental.
Like they beat you?
I wouldn't say so much, but again, you did get occasionally, and I was just, terrified for yourself. And again, I believe, Allah has His way, and what goes wrong in life comes back around. And again, the position you are today, alhamdulillah, you say, and, you've gone on and got on with your life. But, at the same time, you see them where they still are. And
So.
Yeah.
That's tough. And that, you think that really helped you to be the opposite of that to your kids?
100%. And I said, I've always wanted early on from there, what I've gone through, I've wanted kids. I want to be that father figure. I want to be there to support them mentally as well as physically, and give them the love
that you missed.
Yeah, you missed. Not that you can't give everything to a child. As I said, the only child, their brain's not big enough. And as they get developed, they understand what's good and bad for them. But at the same time, show love, show support, encourage them, tell them it's okay. Nobody told me it's okay. You have to learn the hard way. You make a mistake, you learn from it, you go on quick. As a 9-year-old, if I compare my son now, he's 10 years old. At 10 years old now, what I was doing at 8 years old, 9 years old.
No comparison.
No.
So you were like a labor, like you clean the house
I clean the house, I change diapers, I clean, cook.
At 9?
At 9. Look after the kids. Make sure you finish school early, quick, run home, pick them up from school. Because our school will finish 3:15, 3:30, got 15 minutes to get back.
So a servant?
Yeah.
Yeah, child labor all the way.
Yeah.
And it was all fear-based, like you were afraid as a kid?
Yeah, that was fear. If I ever wanted to see my family or something, couldn't talk to anyone. Couldn't show. And only reason then it came forward was the school identifying how neglect I was. And to school to identify that.
Has to be bad.
It has to be bad. Not just the physical, physical here. It wasn't that. It was to see a child. Because, as a school teacher and stuff, the signs, often as a kid, I've always said this, a kid's behavior, it's always referent to something. It's never just a bad behavior. It doesn't just happen and go, that kid decided to be naughty. There's something behind it. What is the behind?
Man, that's interesting. And the second family was good?
Oh, the lady was so good to me, honestly.
Wow.
Kinsey, we have no relationship. It's basically, the guy, I came on the visa, his sister. And she's like, listen, this is a child. He's same age as my son. If my son likes him, I welcome him to find somewhere someone can put up with him, because in the social services, what happens is they ask you a question. They're like, do you know anyone? I'm like, I don't know anyone. If you know somebody, then that person will put you up for time being. And then till they find you somewhere, someone can put you up. And I end up staying there.
Interesting.
For 4 years.
And even after you found your mom, you stayed in that family?
No, and then when I went to uni, and then I moved out, and obviously I just wanted to be independent, and so.
So then Mr. Allen identifies that you are an athlete.
Athletes.
Okay. So how do you become a professional athlete?
So when I was an athlete, at that point, I joined the running club because I was moving from that house, and then joined the running club because before I couldn't join the running club. I had no free time. And then I said to him, okay. And then he said to me, and I said, he could see I wanted to play football. And then he said to me, listen, okay, I know you love playing football as a child. That's what we saw, match of the day. We love football. That's our team. And he could see I wasn't that good at football. And then he said to me, you know what? Okay, come, I'll take you to running club if nobody can take you. It took me one time and I was like, I'm not sure if I want to go. And then he said to me, you know what? Well, if you come to the sports hall there, you can play half an hour, play football, kick around, bring one of your friends if you want, and I'll take both of you to the athletics club. And then from there, you can just get the bus home. I was like, yeah, okay. Half an hour turned into 1 hour, and then I joined the club. Once I joined the club, I represented for the club. And then I run for the county. So we have the county, Middlesex, and then once you run for Middlesex, then you go, what's next? And then you compete against other counties, and then you run for England. And then once you run for England, then you go England, England, Scotland, Wales, and Ireland. You get to compete. So, and then from there I won. And then I was like, okay. And then the first time, I don't forget, my first time representing Great Britain was European under 16. So then that was my first time.
Interesting.
As a 16-year-old. And then we go to Poland. And then from there, I think when I was just coming up to 17, they invited us to Disneyland, Florida, where they had all the athletes where they thought had the potential to become a good, decent athlete. So they were like, okay, he's good. We're picking this, like maybe about 50 people they picked from javelin, shot put, long distance. And I was one of the long distance guys they picked. And they took us to Florida for training camp for 2 weeks. And that 2 weeks was the best time of my life. And then after 2 weeks, they were like, one day you can go to Disneyland, Orlando, Florida, where you got all the rides, everything. And I was like, wow. And at that point, something kicked in my head and go, man, if this is the reward on a long flight to America, and this, I want to become an athlete. And I think at that point, then that's when I applied more and, training, understanding, increasing my training. And yeah, just really then try and live like an athlete, not like you trying to mix football, running. Yeah.
At what age did you go to Orlando?
Probably about 16, 17.
So that decision came at that
age.
Yeah. So now you have 4 Olympic gold medals.
Yeah.
and many other titles. Do you think you needed pain, and pain was necessary to reach what you did?
Yeah, 100%.
Really?
Honestly, as I said, like even say if we go back even in Beijing Olympics, where I got selected to go to Beijing, I was talented. I was good enough. Telling everybody, tune in, watch me. I'm running in the Olympics. My first Olympics, I was supposed to make the final and do well in the final because I was good enough in 2008. I didn't even make the final. I got knocked out in the heats. And I'm like, it's a long way to go all the way to Beijing. I got knocked out and I was devastated. I was tired. I was just like, and sometimes you've got to be honest with yourself. And sometimes you've got to go, what could I have done? Did I make a mistake? Was my training not right? Did I overcook it? Was I not up for it? And at that point, I think there's a lot of questions came to me. I was good enough because the Kenyan guy who came third was, I was ahead of him in training, and we were training together. And for me, I didn't even make the final. And I was like, something had to change. I was like, I just felt like I was hungry for it, but I didn't really understand. It was more of like the pressure or the Olympics. You just felt like, Olympics, you get overexcited. And at that point, I remember being devastated and coming back, and I was like, questioning myself, do I want to continue in my career? Have I got what it takes? And I was like, listen. Then, my wife at the time, she was like, you can do it. And then Alan, again, the people around me was like, Mo, are you having this bad race? Does not make you a bad athlete. This is what you train for all your life. This is part of it. And you had to learn, and then step by step, then came to it. 2009, went to the World Champ, finished 7th. And then 2010, won the Europeans, like double, 5,000, 10,000. And then 2011, then at that point, when it comes to European, I was like, okay, great, I'm the best in Europe. Can I be the best in the world? And then that's when I did the World Championship in 2011, came second, and then came first in the 5,000. And then from there, I was like, that was 2011. And that was the build to 2012. And for me, always my dream as a young boy, being at school and watching a lot of races was like, I remember watching Sydney Olympics. I think I was in sixth form, where we call it the college. And it was 10,000 meters, Haile Gebrselassie against Paul Tergat in Sydney Olympics. And I remember going, wow, they look great. I want to become Olympic champion. The whole stadium was like, it was a time where Kathy Freeman was running and, she had that all on suit, Michael Johnson. And I remember going, I want to go to Olympics. I want to become Olympic champion. And it was that, And then, to have the Olympics in London 2012, in our doorstep was incredible. Honestly, that was the moment of highlight of my career. Because as a young boy, to go through and to do it in your hometown, have the 75,000 people cheer for you, a Union Jack, that was, for me, it was incredible. And I think you could write a book, you could make a movie, you could not predict what that outcome, that Super Saturday, and to do it particularly, in your hometown where you grew up, has so much memories, good memories, bad memories, with everything to deliver.
It's written.
Yeah. And I just look now and then, I'll look back and my kids now is old enough to understand and stuff. My son, the other day, we were running on a treadmill and he's like, I need motivation. I said, okay, watch this race. I put it on for him and he's watching and he's motivated and he's running. And I was just like, and I look back and I go, wow, some of the races that I had, like particularly that in 2012, it's like, wow, how did I do it? You don't even know. Because when you're in that moment, you don't have time to think outside, right? If you think outside, you have too much time and then the race is done. So you in that moment, you just, that tunnel vision. And that's what it takes to be a champion. I'm sure you spoke to a lot of people and when you have that mindset, you can get through it. And I said, someone asked me the other time, they came up in an interview and it's like, to do what we do you have to be different or do you just have to be a freak? Because the normal people, It's not normal. To us, it's normal. And again, every legend, everyone who's accomplished so much has gone through some point in their life something. I believe that. You know, I'm a big admirer of Thierry Henry and his story. And when you see it, then
You understand.
and so many other.
Yeah, like I'm thinking all the athletes that are with you have a similar goal and they want to be world champions and they want gold medals. But what do you think or maybe you don't have the answer, but I'm just going to ask it. Like, what do you think sets that 1% difference? You know, like getting one gold medal or two in one Olympics, I'll be like, okay.
Even 1% is 0.5%.
Yeah,
Honestly.
like, what's the difference between you and the top guys that were running next to you? Some of them probably are very top.
Yeah, top guys. Like in the World Championship, where I've gone 5,000 meters is 12 laps, 12 and a half laps around the track. Yeah, I've lost the medal less than half a second. Yeah, and I finished. Yeah, and I finished 7th. I finished 9th. Right? So who remembers the guy in 7th or 9th or 4th? It's that, but then again, it's that belief, it's that confidence, you know, you build. And to me, you know, when you think about a race or tactics or special series you watch, you know someone, right? At the moment, when they're going to do, how they're going to do it, that's them. And for me, you had to learn something that, you know, you can beat everybody else at all. And I was saying it was my kick. But how did that kick come from? Where did it come from? And it's about you being able to understand your opposition then, the better than they understand themselves. That's what it takes. Like for me, I studied each athlete.
Really?
I watched back their race. I looked at what they did. I looked at how many races they have the year. I looked at how they're looking. And then same again, they were looking at me, oh, Mo's going to do this race, he's going to come. And that's what you've got to do. And it's that confidence. But the more you understand about your opposition, the more you can prepare, right? And for me, the craziest things was just putting your body through so much, had to run 120 miles a week and week out. Not 1 week, not 2 weeks, 8 weeks. You continue and you take a rest and then you go again. To me, the racing part was the bit I enjoyed most.
Wow.
Because you're not going into fatigue, but if you can deal with the race and know your opposition and position yourself right, run the shortest lines possible.
I'll switch to another topic. What does love mean to you?
Love means just happy. Love is, you know, the love that I have for my kids and the love they have for me and my wife and my kids. It's so beautiful because we can just be us. Does that make sense? For me, that's what it means. It's not because you're 4-time Olympic champion, you're celeb. It's not. It's the love, that true love of accepting you as who you are and comes with your crap or my mess, as I say often. I'm such a messy guy, by the way.
Okay,
like,
really?
Yeah, but that's just me.
Okay, that's nice. And how long you been married now?
Got married in 2010, so it's that 17 years.
26 now? 10? 2010? Yeah, 26.
Is that 17, 16?
It's 2026, yeah? 16.
16 years.
16 years.
16 years. But I know my wife, we went to same school.
Who?
My wife, we went to same school.
Okay.
Yeah, we went to same school, so I know her since she was in the same athletics club as me. And so we go way back. And yeah, and I think truly, like honestly, without the support that I had from her, for the support of the kids, because often I was away 6 months a year. That ain't easy.
No.
And you're missing birthday parties, you're missing exams, you're missing when they're sick. And to have a woman to can hold the family together, it's amazing. Honestly, I took that for granted. Now I look back and she goes, "Here, I'm gone." This is not easy. It's not easy.
Not at all.
No, but listen, that's mother, huh? I think sometimes we take it for granted, for particularly women, for their role they do
So,
for the kids and the support and what they hold together.
and what do you think in your 16 years of experience has, you think this, because you know, a lot of people are married, some struggling, some doing well, some miserable. In your experience, what do you think kept a family together and what dictates a good, healthy marriage? What's so important?
I think the most important thing for me is being honest, be truthful. Of course, we make mistakes. You telling me like I don't make any mistake, do I mess up? Yeah, of course you do. But I think as long as you're truthful and be truthful to each other, I think that's what holds. And for me, it's just being honest. It's the same thing with my kids. The value for me, if my kid's gone and do something stupid, and if I find out from someone else, I'm so mad about it by finding out from someone else. But if they would have told me and said to me, Dad, we messed up, this is what it is, I'm fine. I just say, look, okay, you know, that's thing. And for me, that honesty is so important. And often I think for all of us, with what's going on around the world, there's so much more stress than ever with everything going on, social media, other stuff. And there's a lot going on, which makes it more challenging. But as long as you have your faith, you believe in one another, that's what I think holds it. And for us, I think being Muslim as well, knowing the foundation, it's so important.
Did fatherhood change you?
It did. It taught me to be grounded,
Okay.
to be not as crazy as I was in my younger days. But also it gives you something, you know, it's like, as you say, it's more of a chill. You see more of, you know, what's happening in life, what's going on. And you always think, you don't think about just yourself, you think about your kids and your family. Where before you got, I'm going out with the boys. You don't think, now you're like, I don't do anything other than, you know, now and then I might have one or two friends, play a bit of football, paddle, do stuff, family, and then work.
I'll ask you some more. Can I get the red card with some quotes? I got some from the research. And the card, yeah. الكحول جا عندك؟ عطني إياه. Thanks. Okay. Mr. Mo, you said what really saved me, what made me different was that I could run.
Yeah.
Were you afraid that if you fail at running, you would be lost again, like the boy before racing?
Yeah, honestly, with that running, I would definitely be lost. Because if you ask me, say, okay, Mo, what's on your CV? You got a job interview. What's on your CV? What have you studied? I would struggle. You know, I wasn't afraid to get a job. I worked at McDonald's. I wasn't afraid to get a job, earn money. But in the real world, it would have been very difficult for me. And all I ever know is running. And running for me was a way of being free, and that's what I enjoyed. And I didn't know at the time where, you know, if you do so well, you can earn decent living.
Okay. Your training was crazy. You'd run twice a day, around 18 miles a day and 120 miles roughly weekly. Is that what it takes?
That's what it took. If you want to be the best, you see your opposition running so many miles. To me, that was the limit to my body. To run that many miles, it's almost like that was the foundation to run that miles. And then you would do 3 or 4 sessions on top of that. So you do a long run, 20 plus miles, do like a tempo where, you know, they get the heart rate. For example, you get it like not red zone, so just below that. So when they call it threshold, is when your body starts producing lactic acid. So when you start producing lactic acid, for a normal person, they can probably do 20 seconds, right? And then you feel like all your part. Imagine then that you get in 20 seconds, 30 seconds, 40 seconds, you can build up to 45 minutes, and that's what I do, and that's called the threshold. I was doing that. And it's plus the hills, but I enjoyed it. I look back now and go, did I enjoy it? Of course I enjoyed it. Otherwise I wouldn't be so successful. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the pain. I enjoyed the graph. I enjoy the bit that moments you laugh, God, I've got 8 weeks to go. I need to be in this kind of shape. I need to be this right weight.
When you're running alone for hours, what does the voice in your head tell you?
You get a lot of different voices when you're running. You get a voice telling you, you're too tired, stop. Or you get the voice, you're like, yeah, Olympics coming up. It's all different. Honestly, the hardest voice you get is like when you're so fatigued and you're going out for a run and you're like, oh, not today. How am I going to manage 12 miles when I'm only on the first mile? And then I'll go 6 mile out and 6 mile come back just to go through it. Or even sometimes I will have music before where you just put it on without thinking about it, but start the watch and just run. And there's days that you start the watch and you're not looking at the watch till you get further enough, lot further, then you have a quick glance and then back in.
Would you trade your success for a peaceful childhood?
I would, I think. Not all of it, but I would for a bit, because for me, yeah, it was great, and I'm so grateful that I've won and done everything. But you just go back in time, and if you could go back and share love with your mom, your brother, you know, there's nothing could buy that. Yeah.
What is a fear or insecurity that you've struggled with throughout your life?
The insecurity I struggled with, for me, was just like always thinking, or you just like, you're almost like, what's the correct word? You're almost like going, you don't want to tell you're wrong. You're always just like, I can't be. You know, it's okay. It's okay. I've never had that, someone to tell me it's okay, but it's never okay. I'm like, and I think that's one thing probably I struggle with, like affection, because you never had that affection. And you don't have to be so hard.
Are you affectionate with the kids? It's hard.
I am. It's hard, but I am at my best. But could I probably do more? Yes.
How do you receive love? Like if somebody hugs you or shows you love, is it awkward? Or is it,
I think it's
you're
more
used to it? Or?
No, I think it's if someone give me hugs, I'm probably at. But for me to give, that's probably, I think that's when then you do notice more. Like the other day, like my daughter was like, actually when I was coming out to the airport, I thought, all right, Dad, I should have probably gone, all right, see you later, I've gone. But she knows me that well. She comes and give me a hug, and I was just like, and then you think for a moment, you're like, should I have been the one say, hi guys, I'm gonna go now, see you later? You know?
2026 task list. You should give random hugs to your kids.
Yeah.
2026.
Just randomly.
Like they're watching something, just go from behind and like,
yeah.
That's your homework.
Okay.
Out of this.
Okay.
Random.
I will.
Yeah. And like your training, Mo, repetition makes things natural.
Natural.
maybe the first 20, 50 hugs are gonna be awkward.
Yeah.
So what? You know how much that might mean to them to
Yeah.
get a random
Hug.
from a guy who usually they have to hug?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it's cool. It's like somebody who always tells you, I love you, I love you. For the first time, if they tell you, you're like, ooh, that's different, you know?
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's your homework.
Okay. Task.
What's the most painful thing someone has told you?
Most painful.
Like it's stuck. It hurt and you can't forget it.
Probably, as I said, like when I was younger, just being able to, like when I was first told, like my father, and explain how it happened, that was probably the hardest thing. Just the death of my father and how death happened. I probably don't forget that because I know where I was. And then just know, I was probably too young, just saying, can I see it? No. Probably that's one of the hardest things stays on one side of it. And then the other side probably just the lady, you know, when I was, you know, taking care of them children, just how I was treated, and you were never good enough. It wasn't good enough to be with her, because just that, telling you, oh, God. Yeah. That's probably the two things that...
It's crazy how words stay, no?
Yeah. That.
For a child.
For a child.
There was you feel racism in the house? Or she doesn't?
No,
it wasn't a color thing?
No, it wasn't a color thing. We were same color, we same language, we same thing. It was just, I look back now and go, I don't know, man, not to say this, that, but I just look back and go, what makes that person like that? Why?
That's a miserable person.
Yeah.
You know, like my mother said something many years ago. She said, you know, when people talk shit online and they curse at you or whatever.
We say keyboard warriors.
Yeah. She's like, imagine how it feels like to be in their head. Like how miserable
you must be doing something great.
To be. Like imagine now you're with your brain and your mind and you're mostly, I would say, optimistic. Imagine you went today after this and we started making fun of people online and cursed them and made them feel like shit. Like,
you must be,
it has to come out of a very dirty place.
Yeah, your
because
heart is inside, huh?
It's a sewer. Like it's dirty. And you're like spitting at everyone. Like you need to be really upset and really angry with the world and hateful
to
do shit like that. And more so on a child. Exactly. Like if it's an adult versus adult, I'd understand more.
Yeah.
There's jealousy or animosity, and the adult can fight back and they can yell back and they can say, you know, I'm not gonna stay here. But a child is helpless.
Yeah.
Like you're a proper bully
but honestly, as I said, like, you know, when your parents, when you go and stuff, if a child falls down, or a child, or 16, 17, a kid, like you think is a kid, you know? Something happened, you'd be like, what's going on? You know, when you never go. And then, to me, it's just, it's weird because even like, when I went to, just going to slightly change subject, when I went to, that's how naive I was. When I went to Somalia, when seeing my mum and stuff like that, we had, at the time, because I took some shoots and stuff like that, we have somebody burgled us. Yeah? And I was like, we got burgled, how? Is he not Muslim? Is he Somali? I'm like, I couldn't get my head around it. Same person, like same nationality, same religion, is doing that. So to me, it's like when I see people, as well as, you know, we said there's good people and bad people, but I just don't like to think about bad people. Because why? I'm like, stay out of my lane. I'm going, we've got something good. Let's go. Be positive. And even
What's something you've been through that you wouldn't wish on anyone?
Probably lonely. Like if I don't want to wish on anyone not to have somebody to talk to. Like when you're feeling down, when you feel like, as a child when I was younger, it's okay to be feeling like this, but I think most importantly, if we can have a conversation with someone, it's better out than keep inside.
Huge relief.
Just let it out. And it's okay to be angry. It's okay to scream. It's okay to cry. But it's important, I think, for us as human beings, just let it out.
Relatability is a crazy medicine. Like somebody to relate to you and listen to you.
Yeah.
Like the other day, I was doing a meeting, and the lady said, "What did ABtalks teach you?"
ABC.
Yeah, the show.
Yeah.
What did it teach you? So I had to think. And I said, one of the things that I said that every human
It's different.
needs an ear
Yeah.
to listen. Any human anywhere in the world
Yeah.
wants to be heard.
Yeah.
Every story. Like if it keeps inside, it's lonely.
That's lonely,
But
man.
to share it with somebody who actually
Cares. And not to make fun of you, but to cares and
Yeah.
to actually just hear you.
Huge. Imagine like you're upset, you're like, Anas, I need to call you.
Yeah.
Yalla, call me more. This happened at work and this, da, 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 da. After it, you're at least 20% better.
Yeah.
At least.
Least. It's a relief.
You need this. And I'm like, Habibi, you're okay, don't worry.
Yeah.
Go for a walk, calm down.
Yeah.
Call the kids. Okay, Anas, fine. Yeah, okay, I'll take a shower and go for a walk.
Yeah.
I just,
No,
brother to brother,
but it's so important to have that somebody.
yeah.
But also, like for you, when somebody's like a someone, often it's like, what's going on? How's it going? You know what I mean? You're not. It's almost figuring out. But when you keep the good people around, you keep them.
100%.
Yeah.
If you had the chance to relive one day of your life, which day would it be?
It has to be that moment of my wife, I think, just giving birth to my beautiful kids after 2012. You've won the Olympics, and then 2 weeks later, your wife's delivering twin.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was
That's a double.
double. So I'm like, wow.
Nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
that summer was, so it was incredible, honestly. And
Nice. Okay, if you could teach every child in the world one lesson, what
Yeah.
would you teach them?
if I can teach them one lesson, I'd just respect.
Respect.
For me, it goes a long way. If you have no respect for someone, no matter who you are, you're not going anywhere. And for me, I've always had that. And I thank my family, my mum, I met people, my father early on, taught me as the foundation of things. It doesn't cost anything to say thank you and please. For many kids out there, just, no, I'm so-and-so. Even the clean, you know what? Someone's cleaning, someone's doing it. If you don't have no respect, how?
It's a good
And I think for me, seeing kids particularly, it's hard because it's like kids, like,
If they don't, if they lack respect, yeah.
Yeah.
That's so true. Okay, we'll do one of the card game, a random one.
Ooh.
Mix it for me. Professional, huh? Okay. I'll ask you, and then before you answer, this is how you answer.
Okay.
How have your values changed from 10 years ago? Throw.
Bismillah.
Be open.
Be open.
How have you... No, that's for you.
Okay.
How have your values changed from 10 years ago, Mo? From that Mo to this Mo? How have you changed?
Not honestly.
Value-wise.
No, honestly, I've my values always, it changed me, but it also questioned me. It's what I believe and what I stand for. To be, to take care of things that you believe. Like, for example, like I said, 10 years ago to now, was like most beauteous things that I ever wanted to dream of, and doing that was being able to, go to Hajj with my wife. And for me, it's something that I always wanted to give more time for what I believe. And now is the time for it, retired. And to me, taking care of what I stand for more and more, that's probably how I changed. Where before you go, not caring what someone else think. You might think that and you just go, yeah, I'm playing along with it. Where now you're like, I really truly believe that, and I am going to do something, and I will do something, whether it's my religion, whether it's like things that I'm supporting, whether things that I'm encouraging. Take control of it. I'll probably say, well, I'm very open where, if you would have asked me 10 years ago or 5 years ago, you wouldn't get this conversation.
I love that. That's us also reaching peace within who we are, to be okay with who you are. With Hussein Abdi, with Mo Farah.
Yeah.
What happened to that actual kid whose name is Mo Farah?
It's a good question. So when I was doing the recording for me, I was so conscious of what happened with really that kid, what really happened. And the kid was, he was supposed to come as well. The lady told him he's going to come, and just playing along with him, and he was supposed to going to come. But then he ended up not coming. So I took that place. So he then came to Djibouti. He happened to be, the time I was leaving, he was in Djibouti as well, by the way, because the father told him to go there and stuff, because that was his stepson at the time. And he ended up going to Djibouti, spending a little bit of time there, and then going to Kenya and stuff, and just, and then he lost his auntie or something. He also went through, I don't wish on him, he also went through hard times. And often I blame myself, and I'm like, was it my fault? What could I have done? And over time you think, there's nothing I could have done, because it was never about my final decision. It was someone else's decision. And same again. Yeah, and same again for him. He suffered as well. Where even, when I was making a documentary, I spoke to him, and he wasn't so bitter, but at the same time, you can see he struggled. Because sometimes you be watching you and going, okay, that's my name. That's a child. SubhanAllah. Because you would have thought that child on just that piece of paper will go on and do something, incredible.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
You never know. Like, if he went to the UK instead of you, maybe it would be worse also. You never, like, you actually don't know.
No.
So many things have to come together.
Yeah.
Like, if we took 1,000 you and put them with the same through process, probably 1 out of 1,000 is a guy with gold medals.
Yeah.
So many things have to fall. You had a Mr. Allen at a certain
but
school.
This is how I see my life. Honestly, it's sliding doors.
Crazy. So many things have to come together to produce
From young
this.
to produce, to come out. And I'm like, SubhanAllah, I say Alhamdulillah all the time, I'm so grateful. And sometimes you say, listen, if I didn't have Iman, I didn't have faith.
And how much faith? Some people have faith like this. Some people like this.
Always have faith. Allah says it's only tests. Test us in many ways. But it's how we do and what we do.
But how does a 10-year-old and a 9-year-old have faith? From 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Like, you don't give up, like, on hope.
I never gave up.
Like, you're praying in the bathroom. You're saying please on the where? Like, what are you doing?
I've always prayed, and I've always not mainly day to day, every day as a young boy, but often I knew what was the basic things that if Allah meant, it will come one day. Sometimes maybe you question, you're angry at yourself, you're angry at the situation, you're crying, doing stuff. But have the time, and then say what will be. And then the hardest thing was that even that lady to tell the man, she told all my family were vanished. They got all killed as well. So even for him to hear that and go, okay, leave this child then. Imagine how that person. And then later on found out, oh no, they're still alive. And
Crazy. And cruel.
yeah.
What are you afraid of?
Me? Well, just in general? Snakes.
And in life?
No, honestly, I'm not afraid of anything apart from, obviously.
Afraid of death? Are you afraid
No.
of sickness? Losing someone?
You always in life, we say, I always pray, when you do go, your kids don't go before you.
صح. Ya Rab.
Yeah, Rabbi.
Yeah. We don't want
That's the thing that for me, often, but as I said, I'm not afraid of anything other than, I want to do what we're supposed to be here to do, and live by example, be able to give changes, talk, be that good human being.
صح.
Yeah.
What was the biggest decision you made in your life?
The biggest decision I made in my life, in my career or in just general?
Anything. Do you think like that's such a big decision that you had to make and it maybe changed everything in your life?
I think the biggest decision I made was being able to go married. Getting married for me was like it's a big decision because
I actually think it might be the biggest decision in most people's lives.
But
It might be the biggest one.
But
a lot of people don't talk about it.
So but when you married that person, the good, the bad, whatever comes, you married, you take in that responsibility. And to take that responsibility, it's like, I'll never forget when the Imam said, okay, this is what we do death, we do whatever comes with illness, you take this. And you're like, for a minute, you're like,
Big.
it was bigger.
Of course.
And also for you in Islam, what your responsibility is.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Like I tell the young guys, and I'm like, it's a big, you have to marry a woman, not only for her looks and what her personality is, also what her family is.
Yeah.
Because your kids are going to grow up around them too.
Yeah.
And if her family is good, it makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
And if her family are trash, good luck.
Yeah.
Like and if you, God chose that you divorce, you hope that they were classy enough to divorce in peace
Properly.
and nice, not like,
and live.
trash. And I've seen so many bad divorces.
I've
I'm divorced, but I'm so blessed
Yeah.
with my ex and my ex family.
Yeah.
Wow. Class.
No, that's
Alhamdulillah. So that was a very good decision,
Yeah.
We're still good parents, mashallah.
No, but that's most important,
But
sometimes.
it's so big, man. Because I always tell also guys, when you get married or you fall in love, it's like you give your heart to a woman, either she'll take you to heaven or hell.
Yeah.
And if you have a bad marriage, it will affect your career, it affect your sports, it affects your peace of mind, like everything.
No.
And the opposite is true.
Yeah.
If she's
And
good.
I think sometimes it's said, listen, it's not always easy because you are taking responsibility of someone else. It's not about you. You used to mean you're sitting here, you're taking someone else and you have to move across, and sometimes maybe you got too much here, and that's part of marriage, 16 years of, you learn along.
Fine.
Yeah, but most importantly, you trust each other and you love each other for who you are.
What does Somalia mean to you today?
It means a lot because that's where my family is, in Somaliland, that's where they are. And often, even when I opened, first charity I ever had was, Mo Farah Foundation. We built quite a lot of wells and giving back to the community, giving back to the younger kids, educating them. We did quite a lot of work. Even now with Save the Children, I still do quite a lot of work.
Nice.
It's where they're where you're from, where you're born. But at the same time, I know life it's not always easy. So often I always want to try and help and see what you can do for particularly kids, because kids touch me.
For sure.
Yeah.
And England, what does it mean to you?
No, England means everything, honestly. It's a country that give you opportunity, give you a chance. And for me, you know, I made most of it. You know, when you get given that opportunity, not always that opportunity always comes around. You've got to take it in both hands and go on and respect. And you see, I'm proud to be able to, you know, represent your country and to hold Union Jack. And in that 2012, I think that's that. When you say England, it was just, I think, 2012. Because 2012, it wasn't just about myself, it was everyone. You know, the whole nation came together.
Of course.
It didn't matter where you're from.
And it represented so many
Scotland,
things.
Wales, Ireland. And I believe sports brings everyone together.
If you could call young Little Mo or Hussein, whichever name connects, what, in that lonely phase, what do you feel you could have told him on this call?
Honestly, I would have wished just told somebody, or perhaps first getting that as a younger self is going, it's okay. It's okay to be upset. It's okay to be angry. And, you know, you don't know whether it was okay or bad, or you just felt like, it's okay, be happy. It's going to be, or everything is going to be okay. I probably said, it's going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay. You're good. Or just little tap, say, it's okay. Everything's going to be okay, which, alhamdulillah, you know.
And you think that's all he needed?
I think that's all, and just love. Just to hear, everyone's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
So simple, huh?
Yeah.
But so valuable.
Yeah. It's like now your kids make mistakes. Would you tell them, what are you doing in your life?
Yeah.
Or do you go, it's okay, ma mishkila ya habibi. It's okay. You know? That's often we as a parents, I know I use it, we use. Or your kid hurt himself and just gone down there like cleaning up and you're following up on his bike, or just go, it's okay. You're strong, you're good. You know, just
that. If Allah yarham your dad, but if your dad, you can bring him back to live one of your moments, which moment would you bring him to experience with you?
Honestly, I was just, because I know some of the stories that I hear, my dad was very active, a bit like, had the personality where he's just messing around. He had that character. And I wish just to him see you do a race or win, or to see the birth of your kids, or my kids to see him. To me, that would be the proudest. You know, I pray for him all the time, you know. But at the same time, yeah, I just try not to think so deep, but you do have to think sometimes. I even actually, it's weird, I had a picture of my uncle, and my dad's brother, Uncle Allah Rahmah, he passed away as well, had a picture of him. And I had a picture of my son when he was young. And I put them together like that, and I was like, what do they look like? And yeah, and it's just like, you know, just an image, or just a present, or just some kind of something.
Did you ever dream of him?
No, I never had a dream where, you know, my mum, I speak to her all the time, I speak to her a lot. She has lots of, now and then she would see him, and she had lots of dreams. But I never did.
Interesting, huh?
Yeah.
I hope he visits you in a dream.
Inshallah.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
How does it feel like when, is there a gap in your heart when you win so many things and you have so many beautiful moments in your life, but you lose a parent so early that you don't get to share it with them?
Yeah.
Does it remove from the pleasure of these moments? Like you're like, I wish he saw how good his son did. I wish he saw this. I wish he saw this.
I think there's a moments that where you often, even my mum, I think she never watched all my races, and she didn't really get understanding what I was doing till later on in my career, where she watched and she's like, "Oh, why is you hurting yourself?" And that's just mother. But for me, it was just when you make your country proud, and the whole nation's watching you. And then the next step then to do, wow, I've made my country proud. I wish. Then if your father or your mother's there, well, your mother sees it anyway, it will be even more proud of you.
Well, the truth is, Mo, you don't even know if he actually could see it. We have no proof, where the spirit goes.
Yeah. I just keep praying.
We never know.
Yeah, no.
It's a much mysterious world, the hereafter, no?
Yeah.
So the physical is gone,
Yeah.
the father's physical body.
But all of us,
But you don't know where. The spirit, can they see? A ruh, Can they see? Can they hear?
I heard sometimes, when they say dreams, if someone dreams of someone, that's in spirits coming.
Maybe.
It's a reality. That's what I've just...
Well, I hope in 2026 your dad, Mr. Abdi, joins you and he comes in your dream. What do you hope that your kids remember of you after you're gone? Like, how would you like them to remember you?
No, honestly, I would want my kids to remember me as, someone that always tried their best, wasn't afraid, and whatever you put in, you can achieve. Whatever you've gone through, where, times where we're always questioning, okay, can I do it? Can I not do it? And I think often if you put in your work, if you believe in yourself when no one else believes in you, you still can do it. And I guess for the entire world, someone who's always tried their best. I was never afraid to not make mistakes, but mistakes that I could quickly learn.
Nice.
You're not going to have a lot of time. And I think that came in early on in my younger days where, God, you messed up, because then you move from quick learn.
If you're blessed with a good death, inshallah,
Sure.
and on your last day, you're surrounded with the kids, with your wife, with your mom, or whoever is really dear to you, and they're all there, and you can tell them something before you pass. What do you feel your loved ones need to hear from Mo?
Just tell them, tell them you love them and always have faith. Don't ever forget, Allah, who created us, put us in this earth. And to me, it's one thing that I always want to keep my kids, because I think at times many of us get over track, but most importantly, if we do not doing for what we hear in this dunya, it's hard. And just live your life as is your last. And I think for me, since retiring, soon doing that, just be grateful, move on, do what you need to do, and be happy. As well as, do what you need to do, or do your, it's like recently, staying on top of my salah and just staying more in your deens is so important, because, this is all great. But again, how long for? Do we know?
Last one. Mo or Hussein in one word?
In one word, that meaning my name or just me?
You. That's why I joined the names.
Hussein, Mo.
With Mo and Hussein, I want this person described in one word.
Faith.
Faith. Yeah, I like that. Maybe that's your movie.
Faith.
Thank you, man. Shukran.
Just
Appreciate it.
thank you, shukran.
Yeah.
It was good. Too deep?
No, it's deep.
Say wallah.
There's
No,
not too
joking.
deep on ABtalks. There's not too deep on ABtalks. It's so beautiful to hear such a good story, man.